Danger. Biological contamination detected.
Yes! Deck the vault with gasoline. La 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 la. Light a match and watch it TV. La 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 la. Hi. Did we really have to go to a cabin in the woods to review this movie?
Of course, we had to go to a cabin in the woods to review this movie, Cabin in the Woods.
Anyway, hello internets.
And interwebs.
I, of course, am Scott. I am not reading any Books of the Dead while I'm in the Cabin in the Woods car. And with me, as always, is...
Robert, I'm not dating the Deadite in the cellar, James.
Is it Deadite in the cellar?
We're not dating.
But I'm not going in that cellar. Okay. We, of course, are two guys who watch movies, and today we are two guys who talk about movies. And the movie we are talking about is, in case you didn't catch the intro, The Cabin in the Woods.
On this episode of Unscripted and Mostly Harmless.
Always got to find a way to throw that in there, don't you?
I do. It's got to be thrown like me between a threesome. I got to get myself in the middle.
Oh, I didn't need that picture.
I was talking about baseball, where they're throwing back, they have the threesome and the guy's running back. You perv!
Still didn't need that picture in my head.
Anyway,
we're talking about The Cabin in the Woods. And for those who haven't seen this movie's been out for a little bit already. The plot line is pretty simple. Sort of. It's a bunch of teenagers goes to a cabin in the woods and terrible things happen. But a little wrench put in the works because there's these mysterious men in business suits watching them with cameras.
by the way, spoilers for a 10-year-old movie. That little thing, it's spoilers now.
Yeah. So, of course, now that we're in spoiler territory, they're actually controlling it, and it turns out they are actually behind the whole thing. They're trying to kill these people because they're trying to keep an elder god from awakening, and it turns out that all these cabin in the woods things that we hear about, all these different movies, they're all rituals to keep them asleep. We, of course, are going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of this movie. So, you ready to get into this?
I am. Yeah. With the good?
Are you excited? Are you excited to talk about this?
Not really.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that. So, let's get straight to it. Here is the good.
Little goody two shoes, little goody two shoes, little goody two shoes, little goody two shoes.
Just love making
the good.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to start then?
Sure.
Since you had to make the whole heart thing.
Yeah.
Why don't you start?
It had Sam Raimi's touch.
He had nothing to do with this movie, though.
Doesn't matter. There were so many odes to him and the way he snap hands and the way he films from low to going to up. And literally, it had Raimi all over this film, even though it wasn't, obviously, a Sam Raimi film.
And there is the one Easter egg where they have a board of all the monsters, and on the board it actually does say Deadites.
When the seller comes up at first and didn't notice it,
Oh,
you did
yeah.
not feel that whip pan. It was literally, "Hi, I'm Sam Raimi."
Well, not only that, the cabin looks very similar to the cabin from Evil Dead. The entrance into the basement literally is a trapdoor that looks just like the trapdoor from the cabin in the Evil Dead. So yeah, there's definitely homages, definitely Easter eggs.
Definitely totally stealing his ideas, words, and how he films. But that I
go with
consider
that,
that
sure.
I consider
Sure.
that good. Meaning the cinematography in a whole,
Okay.
for what they were trying to do to go from this cabin eerie teens dying to this boring office environment where these people are just doing their 9 to 5, folks.
Right, exactly.
I thought that was very good.
Yeah. Another good I had was I really like the fact that we get to see these people before they go to the cabin, and you get to see that later on they become these tropes. But before that, they're more realistic people. Like, they're not, these cookie
The
cutter
jock, the
characters.
fool, right.
They're not the tropes that they're going to become. They're fully, and they don't have a whole lot of time to establish this, but it feels more like they're fully developed people rather than just, one-dimensional characters like the tropes that you normally see. With, of course, the interesting exception is the one that doesn't turn into the trope, which is the stoner, who remains a fully fleshed character.
And yet, one of my goods was when they meet the maniac at the gas station.
Yeah.
The religious zealot who believes all must be purged by blood. He makes an inappropriate comment to the whore of the group by, identifying her as a whore, and the stoner is the one that knocks him out.
Yeah. Right.
And that's totally outside of the fool trope.
Right. Exactly.
So I
exactly.
thought that was, you said he
Yeah.
did it quickly. I thought that was one of the things they did really
Yeah,
well.
and they had very little time to establish the real characters versus the tropes. I thought they did it rather well.
Yep.
And there any more? You have
Nope.
more? I got more.
You just happened to go into my stoner good.
Okay, so that was another one of your goods. Another good I had also was I did like the dynamic of the whole office thing, because here these people are doing basically terrible things. They are purposely orchestrating this to get these people killed. Now, like they say, well, they have to ignore the warning and they have to make the choice as to what to release and all that stuff. But at the same time, they are still helping it along. They're manipulating things as they need to make sure it still happens, that they die, and they die in order and all this other stuff. But despite the fact they're doing terrible, horrible things, they treat it like a 9-to-5 job.
It is a 9-to-5 job.
Because to them it is, exactly.
Yeah, it's the same
And
as us going in and punching the clock
Yeah.
at 9 a.m. on Monday. Oh, I got to kill 5 teams today.
And
I got till noon to have lunch. I better
Right.
get killing.
And I absolutely love that dynamic. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was really well done. I thought there's obvious things where they're using like humor to deal with it. Like certain people and certain jobs that are kind of horrific, they have a little bit of a morbid sense of humor. And you get that with these characters. They have kind of a morbid sense of humor because they're desensitized to what they do, and that's how they get through their day. And I love the fact like they're trolling the Harbinger character, the one that's at the gas station, who's literally there to be a giant sign that says, "Don't go to this cabin or you're going to die."
Turn back now.
That's the whole point of his character. But the guy's like really into it, and he's like really believes in this so hardcore that they're trolling him. They're making fun of him. They're laughing at everything he says. And he's like, "Hey, you don't have me on speakerphone, do you?"
Of course they do.
Of course they do, because they're cracking up laughing.
Like you would do from Bob in the County.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I really like that dynamic.
Yeah.
So, any more?
That's all I got for good.
That's all
I'm
you got.
sorry.
Another good I had, they were Yeah, one more.
Let me get out the scroll. We're up to 3. Go ahead.
I thought they were very imaginative with the monsters. There are so many monsters. And the problem is that they actually had a scene where they have to have all these cubes and they have all these monsters. And they realized afterwards, like, oh, wait, we got to fill all these things. We got too many cubes. We got to find a way to fill these. They actually went around to everybody on the crew and asked everyone to come up with anything. Just make up something. Make a little crew drawing, whatever. They were grabbing around looking for any odds and ends they had in the costume department. They were grabbing anything they could find to make up enough monsters to fill these cubes. And some of them were so impressive that then they had more scenes with them, or they would do other things with them. So there was a lot done with the monsters, and I thought some of them were pretty imaginative. I also like how they took some well-known things that you wouldn't necessarily think of as a monster and turned it into a monster. The one I'm thinking of is the unicorn.
Oh, yeah.
You would never think of a unicorn as a monster, yet you have a unicorn stab somebody with its horn.
It's got a kill count.
So, I like that. Now, doesn't mean you do. But I thought that was a good. So that's one of my goods. Not necessarily one of his goods.
I have to admit another good.
Okay.
And I hate you.
I am proud of myself at this point.
They literally had what I consider my biggest real life fear.
Okay.
The girl in they had a little girl in a ballerina dance, little ballerina costume, not a little girl, 10, 11, 12, whatever. Dancing all prettily, and you turn around and see her face, and it's nothing but teeth. I've never seen that in a real horror film, but if they got inside my mind and did a nightmare probe, that's where she lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in a movie to me that wasn't scary in any way, that one scene where she's dancing around and they turn around and all she has is mouth and teeth.
Yeah. And it was rows of teeth too. I mean,
that was good. Right now I have goosebumps or breakdancing.
It was nightmare feel. I mean,
yes.
There was a few of them that I thought were really good, and I'll agree that definitely was one of them. So
that was like my version of Purgatory. That girl chasing me around.
Yeah.
Going, give me a hug! No hugs!
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So I think that's enough of the good. Let's move on to the bad.
The bad.
Maybe if you tell me the bad news in a good way, it won't sound so.
So you got a lot of bad for this film?
Right. Let me get out my own scroll. No, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. The biggest bad.
If you want to.
The biggest bad is what he actually considered a good. They started out as one group, but when they got there through chemical manipulation or pheromones, or they literally changed these people's entire personality, and yet they had to make the choice. They're not making a choice. They're being led to the carrot, and the carrot is being put in their mouth, and the only thing they're not doing is this to make them chew.
Yeah, just to let you know, that doesn't disrupt my good. My good was that they were fully fleshed characters showing what they were before they turned into the tropes. I wasn't saying turning into the tropes was good. I was saying the fact that it showed they were different people, that they were real people before they turned into tropes. That was my good.
But
I don't want there to be a misunderstanding. No,
gotcha.
I'm not saying turning the tropes was good.
My bad was the fact that, according to them, the only way that these sacrifices or things could happen that need to happen to appease this other god is through manipulation. Again, I hate movies where they take away good's chance. And they just took good and went, no, you don't have a chance.
Yeah, well, the way I see it is that that's what makes them the true villain of the film. You know, they're the villain of the film because in their mind, they're following the rules. They're only manipulating as they need to. But no, they're not. I mean, they're making this. I mean, they're taking random people, turning them into the tropes that they need to satisfy that ritual. It's not like they're actually finding these people and that actually match it and just killing them. No, we got to find them, and then we got to manipulate things. And so as far as I'm concerned, it makes them the true villain.
They're not the villain, but we'll talk about the villain in my ugly.
It's fine.
They are not the villain, though.
Okay.
I disagree with you 100%.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that, I have another
That's your
bad,
bad.
but you go ahead.
Okay. The other bad I have is that there are definite leaps in logic in this movie. Like you already were mentioning,
Like that ballerina with all the teeth leaks.
I wasn't getting that word, but no. I don't remember her doing that. But anyway, you were mentioning about how they're changing them into tropes. Like what they mentioned that the one girl, they got her to become what's the first one? The
whore.
The whore, basically.
I don't, nothing against anybody who does that legally for a living. That's what they called her in the movie. That's all I'm referring to her.
But yeah, whatever they called her. But the whole point was that they changed her with her hair dye. It was they had a chemical in the hair dye that changed her.
And then they hit him with pheromones.
Yeah. Well, later on, when they were changing the temperature because they were trying to get them to have sex and all that stuff. But they don't really explain how the guy became a jock. Like, it just happened.
Testosterone. They were boosting testosterone in his plants and everything he was around. They were shooting testosterone into the air.
And that turned him into a jock to like sports and think that the other guy... See, that's the leap in logic.
It's a leap in logic,
That's where I don't agree.
Oh, I don't disagree with you at all.
Because, there's... Yeah, turning them into... Like, it's basically changing their entire personality. And it's just like...
There you go. There's my bad.
That's what I'm saying. That you got to have some suspension of disbelief, and
I didn't just see
that's really stretching it, because I find it very hard to believe that would happen. I even find it. Well, I almost find it. I do find it kind of strange that they even had. Oh, well, we should stick together. So he's walking down the hallway, hit him with some kind of mist. No, this isn't right. We got split up. Like, wait, how does this work? I don't understand. I don't understand exactly how a gas made him switch that entirely.
Movie magic.
It's not that I don't like the idea. It's just that I have a hard time believing it because they didn't. I don't think they did enough to establish any reason for me to believe it. But I'm just saying there are a lot of leaps in logic. There's just a handful of them. And that's my bad.
I have one more bad.
Yes.
Thor.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember his...
Chris Hemsworth.
Mr. Muscles.
Yeah, this, and also he filmed this before he even got Thor.
P.S. I must say a good as Chris Hemsworth workout routine. Very impressive. Anyway, so... You think they're going to break all the tropes because he gets all angry and I'm getting out of here. I'm getting on this bike. I'm jumping this chasm. I'm going to be the Fonz. I got this. I'm out. I'm going to get us out of here and come back here with weapons. And we're going to kick all the asses. Mm-hmm. And then he gets back and he gets ready to do the jump and the shark is there. And he gets ready to jump the shark and he misses the shark and he runs into an invisible wall. Again, cheat. My bad is, that's beyond manipulation. Mm-hmm. You're not just... You're breaking your own rules. He made a choice to live and survive. Mm-hmm. And they didn't let him do that. Mm-hmm. I know they said after the initial choice, all bets are off. Mm-hmm. Bullshit.
I also say that is a poor way of doing the foreshadowing.
I agree with that.
See,
now I can edit that entire 10 minutes out and we just have you saying it was a foreshadowing and I was right.
Please cut out the part where you say you are right. Because I would never agree with that.
Kidding.
All right.
No, you wouldn't.
Do you have any more for the bat?
That's not nitpicky.
Okay.
I mean, really, because the biggest thing was,
right.
If you're really going to give somebody a choice, it was going to be a good and evil balance, and they choose evil, fine. Mm-hmm. But you got to give evil, or you got to give good and even swing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's all.
Right. All right. So move on to the ugly.
Oh, the ugly is so ugly.
This one, real ugly.
That's not my fault. You're the one that does that, in.
True. Very true.
All right, so what's your ugly?
Purge.
All right, you lost me.
My whole ugly has nothing to do with one big pet peeve. Scott, do me a favor. Define the word purge.
To get rid of everything.
When spoilers, heavy spoilers.
Oh, we already established
Yes,
we're spoiling
yeah,
the
but
heck
this
out
is
of
even heavier.
We're spoiling the heck out of it.
The virgin and the fool survive. They climb into the grave that the Payne family came out, and they find the underground facility. They discover the cubes that he spoke of earlier with all the creatures. And the virgin finds a button that is giant and red and clearly marked purge.
Right.
She hits that button. Nobody is purged. All the doors open and the monsters get out.
Yes.
To me, when she hit that button that said purge, fire should have killed everything.
No. No. Purge is literally...
I had to define purge before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was purging the system of monsters, not the office building.
But that's not what the button established.
Nope. It just says purge.
Exactly.
It doesn't... Literally...
So how could you do that, let the monsters free?
Hold on a second, I'm getting there. So, the button does not say specifically what it is purging. It just says purge. That's all it says. So, there's no way for you to truly know what pressing that button is actually going to do.
It's going to destroy something.
Well, it's going to release something.
No.
Because you're going to purge something.
No.
I don't care if you disagree.
Purge does not mean release.
I don't care if you disagree.
Nope. Not giving in on this one.
That's fine. I don't care. Because I'm leading to something. Okay?
Now follow me or I'll put the hook through your nose and make you come this way.
Exactly. Because here's the thing. Purging, they don't know what it's going to be attached to. Right? Now, we find out in the movie that when they push the button, it releases all the monsters. So that brings me to my ugly, which I think you will now... You're going to find where I'm going with this. Why the hell would you have a purge button that would release all the monsters? That's stupid as all hell. There is no reason for that button to exist at all, regardless if you disagree what it does.
And now bringing you back to my point, you would have a purge button to kill all the monsters if something got out. Or something failed. Or a failsafe didn't work. You would have a button as a human to make everything die.
You're talking about...
I thought for a second he was going to agree.
So you thought they'd have a button to destroy all the monsters they have. You said in case they got out.
A failsafe. The lock stopped working. Somebody escaped.
Right. Right. Okay.
You can make more monsters. You can't make more humans.
I agree that makes a lot more sense.
You realize I'm cutting this thing. I agree. I'm kidding.
However,
mostly.
But that doesn't stop my ugly.
No, I agree with you, ugly.
Because there's no reason
to have a button that releases
that takes all of the monsters and releases them, of all places, into the office building. Even if you're going to have something that releases them for some stupid reason, why wouldn't you just release them into the world or into the enclosed space where they can't get out? Why would you release them into the office building of all places?
So realistically, we have the same ugly.
We have the same ugly, just for two different reasons.
But the end result is our ugly. That button let everybody out instead of... I say instead of killing everybody.
Yeah.
You say, why the hell does it exist? So we have the same ugly.
You think the button should do something different. I say there shouldn't even been a button. There should be no button at all whatsoever. In fact, if there even is a way to release all the monsters, it should have to be a whole bunch of buttons. I would have actually been fine if they had a giant panel and they're like, well, start pushing buttons, let's see what happens.
Right.
And they're just hitting everything and they start releasing monsters. I would have been fine with that. Having a giant button that says purge system
Even a nuclear power plant, though,
Yeah.
does have a purge button.
Right.
Which literally makes the entire building cave in on itself.
And is it one giant big button?
Probably not. It's several switches and dials. And
It looked like this.
no, we have the same ugly,
It,
though. I
it
think
looked
that's
like
kind of
this,
weird.
It looked like this one was actually literally one little switch and then the big
A big button.
Yeah.
A big red
Because
button with duct tape that said purge.
Because it did look like they had a hit, like there was a cap over the little switch. They go and push the cap, they hit the switch, then they hit the big button.
Right.
So it looked like they did have that, but that's nowhere near what you should have if you actually have a way to release monsters. It should have to be several buttons. I mean, this is nightmares. Stuff of nightmares. That's what they described them as at one point. They described them as the stuff of nightmares, the things that nightmares come from. Real monsters that kill and destroy. Why would you make it easy to release these things?
Because they have to let them out so they can join their basketball teams.
Why do I ask questions?
You did ask.
Yeah, I really shouldn't ask questions. Okay, but that's my ugly.
I agree. That's
Okay.
our ugly.
Yeah.
We just got there from different roads.
Do you have any more uglies?
No.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
No,
too.
no.
So, I guess it's time to give coffee cups or whatever the heck you want to do this time.
No. Ancient Sumerian god symbols. Their tablets are about this big. They have a symbol on them.
Of course.
They glow if I hit the button right. That thing on Photoshop. It's hard to hit, though.
I'm glad I don't do the editing. Okay, go ahead and tell me how many ancient Sumerian tablets you are going to give this film.
Well, because I'm in a new environment in a cabin, and I don't know how much room I have to manipulate things or how tight I'm going to crop this,
Okay.
I'm not going to do my normal math.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I guess I could do this. We'll start at 5, and I won't move them. I'll just flip them out of the way. So we'll do this and mark 1 down, because it was a stupid movie.
Okay.
There was no plot. There was a plot, but
There
it
was
was
nothing.
not a good plot. It was a
Did
dumb
you say
plot.
so?
I'm going to take out 1 more for just being a Sam Raimi ripoff. And then I'm going to give it 3 Sumerian stone tablets of evil.
Oh, wow.
It was a good popcorn flick.
Yeah.
Would I watch it again? No. Was it life-changing in any way? No.
Right.
The chick in the ballerina uniform gave me nightmares
Right.
forever, so you get an extra tablet for that.
Right. Okay.
And overall, it was just a fun little popcorn flick. I'll never watch it again.
Oh, okay. There we go. Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. I actually like it at least a little bit more than you, apparently. Just a little bit. I'm giving it 3.5.
I thought you were going to go 5.
No.
I
Oh,
was gonna lose all respect for you.
No. I mean, in all honesty, the purge button alone takes 1 off. Okay? Just having that stupid button there takes 1 off. Okay? I'm sorry. There's just no reason for that.
That's fair.
The other half is just for a few nitpicky things that, I already mentioned some of it in the bad, stuff like that. Like I said, there's certain things that I think are just too many leaps in logic. And I know, like you said, it's popcorn flick, turn your brain off, sadly my brain doesn't
Exactly.
turn off. So it's me being me. It's me being a bit more nitpicky than I probably have to be. So I'm giving it 3.5. I still recommend it. It is definitely a movie that I think is very enjoyable. It's a good horror comedy, which we don't have enough of, because I think it is a very funny film. And it definitely has some great horror at the end. Now, granted, you have to get to the end to really get the true horror aspect of the movie, because people watching this movie, especially if they're like horror fans like myself, they're going to think, wow, this is kind of a lame horror movie, until they get toward the end. They're like, oh, I kind of take that back.
I don't think I've ever done this before.
Uh-oh.
But I'm going to... What do you think? Should I put you in there? Sure? Okay. I'm going to add a tablet back.
Right.
And I'm going to go 4
Oh, how come?
for the ending.
Oh, okay.
The ending was the most unpredictable thing I've seen in a movie in a long, long time.
You probably should have had that in your good then.
No, it wasn't that good. It was just unpredictable. It was unbelievable, but it was
Right.
unpredictable. You
Right.
did not see it coming.
Well-
I got to get rid of half of this because it wasn't 4. But I will come
Oh,
up with and go
so-
3.5 with you.
Oh, so you had to go and copy my 3.5.
Yes.
I see what it is.
Well, sure. But the ending, you think it's too long. Watch the film.
Right.
The ending is very twisty. I did not expect to see this coming, and the
Right.
bad guy wins.
Honestly, it's one of those endings where you are shocked that they had the balls to do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I give it another half. I was really, they really just did they? Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So 3.5.
Yeah. So, like I said, definitely recommend it.
Oh yeah, grab some popcorn, turn
yeah.
your brain off, get a beer, get a bunch of friends, and just literally spend half the movie going, I can't believe I did that.
I don't think we had to actually go to the cabin in the woods to review it, but I mean, otherwise, I thought it was a good movie. So,
No, we happen to be here.
yeah, if you say so.
A bushel of special elections.
Okay. What he
A
said.
special thanks to a person who will remain unnamed, who invited her. She invited herself to her family's cabin, and then invited us to come and clean up after her. So we appreciate her letting us do the sweeping and the toiletry. I mean, it's an outhouse, folks. If you've ever cleaned out an outhouse, look at these nails. But we do want to thank a special unnamed person who's just off camera giving me a dirty look. Thank you very much for the use of your cabin. Thank you, town of Rock something or other. Rock Ridge, Rock Smoke, Rock. I don't know.
Rock
Springs.
Rock Springs. Thanks for existing. We appreciate you.
You do live in your own little world, don't you?
Some days.
Yeah. So that's all from us. Until next time.
Bye. Okay.